Hi guys, welcome to another exciting episode of Influencer.live. My name is Arjun Gulati, and in this episode, we will discuss a critical element of photography, which is lighting. Lighting is very important in content creation since it can make or break your visual appeal. If lighting, whether artificial or natural, is not used effectively, then the final outcome will not be of professional quality. Poor light quality cannot be edited significantly, even on the edit table. So it's important, and as an influencer, you should always keep that in mind. Using proper lighting setup, you can enhance your on-screen presence of a character, prop, or a scene. Lighting sets the mood and reflects the psychology of the on-screen character. While an ordinary person looks at light in terms of light or dark, a content creator looks beyond this and understands light in terms of size, color, harshness, etc. All of this can be adjusted or compensated to give a meaning to a picture or a film. In this episode, we will discuss techniques of lighting, characteristics of lighting, indoor natural lighting, and pro tips on lighting. Basic techniques of lighting. The first rule of lighting is light up the subject properly before taking a shot. As an influencer, you obviously will be the subject. So my discussion on commonly used techniques of lighting will revolve around this assumption. The idea is to show you how to perfectly light your shot without using any heavy-duty professional lighting equipment. 3-point lighting. 3-point lighting is a traditional method of illuminating a subject with light sources from 3 distinct positions. The 3 types of lights are key light, fill light, and backlight. Let's discuss them one by one. Key light is the primary and the brightest light source in the 3-point lighting setup. On most occasions, this gives the overall exposure. You know what is exposure, right? We discussed this in our camera masterclass. Position this main light slightly off to the side of the camera and in front of the subject at a 45-degree angle to the camera. This creates shadows on the opposite side of the subject's face, giving it dimension and depth. The primary light or key light sets the mood of the scene. Fill light. This is the source of light that eliminates shadows created by the key light, typically placed on the other side of the camera to counter the key light. मतलब key light कैमरा के left में होगा तो fill light कैमरा के right में होगा. The second light, which is the fill light, is not always a light. It can be a reflector or a bounce card or a wall, anything that basically bounces light back onto the subject. Backlight. The third source in this lighting technique is the backlight. लोग इसे rim light या hair light भी बोलते हैं. It shines on a subject from behind, completing the 3-point lighting setup. The backlight creates an outline around the subject's head that pushes the subject away from the background, giving it a sense of depth. Sometimes an additional background light is also used to illuminate what is behind the subject. आप उसे 4-point lighting technique भी बोल सकते हैं. But unlike the backlight that creates an outline around the subject, the background light illuminates the background elements such as a wall. The fourth light also helps the camera give additional depth to the subject. Characteristics of lighting. Lighting also has characteristics that should be kept in mind to create content that is creative, interesting, and good looking. The basic characteristics or qualities of light are intensity, color, form, direction, and movement. नाम से ही आप लोगों को आइडिया हो गया होगा कि what they mean. So I'll move on. नहीं? चलो, I'll give you a quick idea. Intensity of light can be referred to as quantity of light. This means how bright or dim the light source is. Light intensity can also be used to represent the mood of the scene. Bright light as dramatic and cheerful, and dim light as mysterious or melancholy. You can manually adjust the intensity of light falling on your object to get the right exposure. All professional light sources have manual adjustment facility for intensity. Color. Contrary to what we perceive through our eyes, light isn't typically crystal clear. It has colors to it, and that color can vary under certain conditions. What appears a deep shade to the human eye, for instance, may have a bluish tint when shot or photographed. Color temperature is measured on the Kelvin scale, and it ranges from 1000 K or Kelvin or more on the warm or red end to 10,000 K on the blue or cool end of the scale. You'll see these numbers and adjustment knobs on professional lights. As a point of reference, daylight or electronic flash fall under the range of 5000 to 5500 K. Various bulbs are rated at 2500 to 2800 K. The good news is that you can adjust the temperature on a large scale on the editing softwares. The direction of light decides the length of the shadows, which are responsible for creating a sense of depth in the image. I'll be coming back to these characteristics in various cases I present and touch point with them. Now let's talk about natural or outdoor light, where obviously you can't adjust the temperature or the intensity with just a button, right? Therefore, the best time to shoot outdoors, as they say, is the golden hour, which is typically 20 minutes before the sunrise and 40 to 45 minutes after the sunrise. The morning sun being really soft and diffuse compared to the midday sun, it creates softer highlights and shadows on the subject. I know कि हमें golden hour के बाहर भी shoot करना पड़ सकता है, so don't worry. I will teach you how to make the best use of available light around you to shoot pictures or videos. Indoor shoot in daylight. While shooting indoors, if you feel that you don't have enough light on the subject, the easiest trick would be to go next to a window. In daytime, a window is your biggest natural key light. Do ensure the window doesn't have a direct sunlight coming through it, as it would create harsh shadows and a high contrasting image, which cannot be solved even on an edit table. Okay, key light to ho gaya. What about the fill light? Remember the 3-point lighting technique? Well, you can add a fill light source with the help of any reflector. While you can buy professional reflectors, which are not very expensive, but practically you can use any plain reflecting surface. I have personally used a white chopping board. वो जिस पे रख के हम सब्जी काटते हैं ना? Yes, that. On a serious note, you can also use a white thermocol sheet as a reflector. The thermocol board can also be painted black and used as a cutter to cut any unwanted source of light in the frame. The distance of the board from the subject and the size of the board determine the amount of light coming on the subject. This light is what helps subdue the shadows and adds dimension to the face of the subject, as you can see in these two images. Okay, so key light and fill light are solved for. But what about the backlight in the natural indoor shoot? So here we can create a backlight with an artificial source such as a bulb. It can also be used to light up the backdrop just as the 4-point system. It is good practice to use a backlight to avoid lots of blacks in your image. Such black spaces usually create a lot of grains in the image, as the camera cannot catch the details in the underexposed parts of the frame. Lighting is actually a science and its usage art. Characteristics of lighting follow scientific principles, while the technique of lighting is a creative process. To learn about the science of light and how it affects the shoot, I highly recommend you guys to watch this video. Okay, enough of Gyan. Now let me give you some pro tips, tricks and hacks which will help you through lighting and shooting. Avoid shadows as much as possible, but if you do get shadows, make sure they are pleasing to the eye and softer. Make sure there's no spillover of light over the subject from external sources. If the source causing the spill is natural, block it with a dark sheet. If you only have a single source of light, then diffuse it to reduce intensity or soften the shadows. Butter paper, which is easily available in groceries or kitchen, is an amazing tool for diffusion of light. It's also very handy when playing around with lamps or bulbs. Show a couple of pictures of butter paper on lamps. Pre-visualize and establish your light's motivation. Before you begin setting up your lighting kit, you have to know precisely what look you want to achieve and why. Lighting setups are never random, never. Invest in a simple set of LED lights and a stand. Any good light will have setting for intensity and temperature control. Play around with the settings, keeping other things constant to master it. Intensity adjustment of your light source is very important. High intensity means more brightness. If your source does not have the intensity adjustment knob, then apply a plastic bag or a butter paper to control the intensity of the same. Keep in mind the size of your light source and the distance from your subject, because this will determine how harsh or soft your shadows will be. Now consider the position of your light source. Where and at what angle you place the lights relating to your subject and the camera determines where your shadows fall. Further the distance or higher the angle, longer will be your shadow. After you've determined your light's size, intensity and motivation, take a few shots to see how all the lights work together. Make adjustments until everything is perfect. Have patience. First time right kabhi nahi hota. Only practice and perseverance will make you a master of this art. Once you're confident of using various sources of light, invest in a few RGB tubes and a ring light. They're not very expensive and are very handy for content creators. Some ring lights offer intensity and color adjustments, and they're perfect for portrait photography. Use it as a key light for your face while shooting from your phone. It'll give you amazing soft light with soft edges on the shadows. Again, experiment with the adjustable intensity feature to create a dynamic range for your shots. Here's some homework for you. Create a pitch dark indoor environment and shoot with only one source of light by varying the color, intensity, distance and angle. Share with us your best shot, and if we find it interesting, we will post it on our social media handles. We'll also tag you. Are you up for the challenge? We've almost come to the end of this episode, but before I go, I would like to share some hacks from my personal experience. An overcast day is like a big butter paper of clouds over the sun. Best day to go out and make some content. Such soft and directionless light is great for any kind of shots. Low angle lighting is a double-edged sword, and hence use it carefully. It's normally used in horror films, and I suggest you avoid it unless you want to give it a treatment like that. It's all in the eyes when it comes to shooting live objects. The eyes need to come out as sharply as possible, and the front of the face needs to be in the light to draw attention. A simple and slight tilt to the head can do wonders. To avoid red eyes during shooting, use the red eye built-in feature on your phone camera. Okay, that's it guys for this episode. Do visit our social media pages at influencer.live for extra information on this topic. This is Arjun Gulati signing off.